Not have a foul to give. Morant rejects the screen and powers one down. And a bit of brightness in what has been a cloudy game number 5, 85-74. Morant.
After that intro, I'm pretty sure you already know who I'm talking about, and you see the man on the screen. Phase 1 B Rose, and I'm here to make the case why Ja Morant could potentially be an MVP. I'm not gonna say this season, but he's up next for it. I say in the next 3 years, and I'm also gonna be talking about what he can do to put his team over the top. Because the Grizzlies were a team that a lot of people thought could make a run last year, a title, and they fell short when they ran into experience. Like I told a lot of my friends, because they just felt like the Grizzlies was just gonna turn it on because they had people like Dylan Brooks coming back, Desmond Bane playing at a high level. And honestly, it doesn't mean nothing when your guard can't stay on the floor, or your guard doesn't make a huge difference in y'all winning. You know, the Grizzlies were better without Ja last year. The majority of their games, I think they had like a 26-2 record or something along those lines. 24-2, 26-2, something like that, when Ja wasn't on the floor. When he was on the floor, they were worse as a team, but they still managed to carve out a top 3 seed in the playoffs. So, with that being said, I just believe that for one, the biggest key in Ja taking a step in his development and getting better as a player, he has to stay healthy. I feel like the main thing that's held him back is not being able to stay on the floor, and that really matters more than anything. If you can't stay on the floor, you're hurting your team, even if they are better without you. I feel like he's the guy that makes them go. He's the energy. He's the engine. So you gotta be able to stay healthy and stay durable. He hasn't even played 70 games, you feel me? I think the most he's played is like, I want to say like 63, but he has not played a full 82 game season. And if I'm a coach, that's concerning. You know, if I'm a GM, that's very concerning. I feel like you gotta be able to stay on the floor if you're gonna be my superstar and franchise player. Like, yeah, he was there for the playoffs, but they need him for the whole season. Hell, they could fuck around and end up as a top seed in the West if he's healthy. But the Grizzlies as a whole just end up, I don't know, they turn out to be beat up when it comes to the season. Jaren Jackson Jr. can never stay fully healthy. Dylan Brooks is winding up injured at times. And Ja, most of the time, he's either going down with something related to his knee or his ankle. And I hate to be that person, but Derrick Rose should be a reminder to any point guard who flies above the rim like Ja does, that if you don't take care of your body and you don't practice landing right, some shit can happen. The ACL tear will take the explosiveness away from anybody. Derrick Rose was just unfortunate enough to have an ACL tear, a meniscus tear, ankle injuries. Like it took away who he was as a player. So at this point, it's like Ja gives you those type of vibes. He's always getting the comparisons to young D Rose, who still happens to be the youngest MVP in NBA history. Ja Morant could follow in those footsteps. And right now, I believe he's averaging 33 through 3 games, 57% shooting from the 3, with around 5 to 6 rebounds a game. So it's just like he's coming out hot. He already had a 49-point game against the Rockets early last week. So it's imminent that he's really gonna make a case. In my eyes, he could be a dark horse MVP candidate this year if he keeps it up. But the thing with Ja is like Ja turns it on in spurts. Like he's gonna give you 20, I say the 23 to 25 range a game, but he has those games where he could explode for like 30 and 40. That shit to their third, not even 3 games into the season, and you already coming out putting up damn near 50 is definitely eye-opening to me. I do think that him shooting 57% from the 3 is a good sign, but it's just gonna be curious to see how it goes with the more he goes through the season, because I think that's another part of his game that like needs to develop. He needs to be able to shoot. And I feel like enough people play him under that you gonna get the attempts. You just gotta knock down the shots. Like, make people respect it. Because if people just gonna play you to the rim all the time, and you know, eventually people will start to key in and stop that. He's just been fortunate enough to have enough bounce and moves around the rim that it honestly doesn't matter how you play him. If you want to get to the basket, he's gonna get to the basket, hands down. I've been a fan of Ja Morant since Murray State, so I've gotten to see his development. Each year his points per game has gone up. Last year he averaged 27, which is crazy to think about. And I think this is year number 4, I believe. So 3 seasons, and I think the season before he averaged 19. So he's only going to continue to get better as a point guard. And honestly, when it comes to guards, I feel like nowadays the league is like heavy on the big man. That's why they're always in that conversation for MVP. The Jokic's, the Embiid's, the Antetokounmpos. But guards, I think, is gonna get a good rep with Ja. Me personally, I feel like Dame would have been in line for MVP if he didn't get injured, because he was a preseason favorite. I think either last season or the season before last, and then he just happened to sit out with injury because he was expected to go crazy. Ja, I'm telling you, like, I feel like if you just blink, Ja might fuck around and end up with an MVP just off the strength that he's leading his team. He's leading his team in scoring, leading his team in assists, I believe. So, and if the Grizzlies are a top 5 team when the season is done with, and he's played majority of the season, because the league, you know, is big time. They're big on people. How do I put this? The league is big on position, I guess. I feel like if your team is top in whatever, then you gonna be in good consideration for MVP, especially if you putting up solid numbers. Jokic just happened to be an exception because they had nobody. The Nuggets had nobody. No MPJ, no Jamal Murray, and he managed to sneak them into the playoffs. That's an impressive feat, if I do say so myself. And Embiid hurt his case when Harden got there and his numbers dropped. I feel like if Embiid kept doing what he was doing when Harden got there, he probably would have walked over to MVP. But that's not the conversation we here to have. The Grizzlies, I don't know. To me, I feel like they're a team that's right there, and they have that potential to explode at any moment like the Warriors did, because the Grizzlies, their whole team has been drafted, and the pieces they have is only gonna make them better. You know, you got Zaire Williams, who's got great length. I think he's 6'10" at a small forward with a strap. He just has to develop more of an NBA ready body, and he has to become more aggressive with trying to get his shots. Desmond Bane has been struggling to start the season, but it's only a moment before he heats up. I feel like if he could get back to that mode where he was averaging almost 20 down the stretch for the Grizzlies, hell, even averaging like 17 to 18 makes you a threat with that type of team. Dillon Brooks, I think he has to stay on the floor, and he has to be like, I don't even get Dillon Brooks' role. I feel like he's 3 and D, but is he really, 3? develop a shot. Then we could talk. Steven Adams is gonna be Steven Adams. Definitely gonna be the muscle up front while Jaren Jackson is gone. They got Santi that I didn't really know much about until I looked at his numbers, so I guess he's filling the role of what Jaren Jackson Jr. was supposed to be. So they got pieces, you know. They drafted very well with, in my eyes, Damian Roddy, steal in the first round, steal. Kenny Lofton, steal. They call him Zach Randolph 2.0, and I believe every bit of it. I just feel like it starts with 12. If 12's healthy, if 12's pushing the ball, if 12 is making the defense react to everything he does, jumper, drive, kick, whatever, it starts with 12. Ja Morant, Dark Horse MVP, could average around 30 this year. Phase 1 B Rose. I'll catch y'all next time.